Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the very first episode of Goosecast, a podcast where I will be talking about everything and nothing at the exact same time. As always, if you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Today's game recommendation is a game called Until Dawn. Now, despite it being released in 2015, Until Dawn is still able to hold up with its competitors today. And I say that not just because of its beautiful and amazing stunning graphics, but because of the complex story that it tells and how well it tells the story. Until Dawn is a butterfly effect game similar to the love game Detroit Become Human. However, it also gives you that thrill and the horror excitement you get if you are a fan of the Resident Evil games. Now, I don't want to say too much to spoil it for those who haven't played it. However, it's about a group of friends and they go up to the mountains and they get into a little bit of trouble, and they gotta do stuff and make difficult choices, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's a great game even still today, despite it being released in 2015, and by February of 2022 it had sold almost 4 million copies. This game, I don't know how it hasn't gotten more credit and love than what it has. The campaign may not be the longest, however, I can tell you, every second of that campaign had me on the edge of the seat wanting to know what happened next. It is one, once I picked up the controller, I did not want to put it back down, and I have general love and appreciation for the game. Next up, Fortnite. Fortnite's got a lot going on for it right now. It's expecting some future collaborations with some big titles such as Pirates of the Caribbean, Lego Ninjago, and Five Nights at Freddy's. Epic has also talked about releasing the OG Fortnite map once again. However, this time they plan to make it a permanent game mode. Well, some may think that it takes away from the hype and excitement that it brought when it was just temporary. I still think it'll be a great addition to the game to play. Now, I'm not sure how they're going to balance the loot pools and the map changes throughout the many seasons, or which ones they'll go with. However, knowing Epic, I'm sure they'll figure it out and do it in a great way. They've also planned to make changes to the Fortnite Festival game mode. Changes include new game modes such as a duel, where players can face off and play the same song together to see who does it better. Now, I think that's a great addition to the game, because I for one have been loving Fortnite Festival. At first, took some quite a bit of getting used to, because I never played the Guitar Hero games growing up. However, once you get a hang of everything, I love it, and they plan to add hundreds of new titles to play just in 2024 alone, which I think is great. My favorite title so far has probably got to be Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo, so make sure to leave a comment what your favorite title for Fortnite Festival has been so far and what you're playing the most. Now, moving on to the Fortnite metas. What weapons are you going to be carrying in your loadout? First one is a pretty no-brainer for me. You gotta have the Striker AR. No other AR is as forgiving or shoots as fast as the Striker does. It has minimal recoil, so if you have it lined up correctly, you can shred people so easily, especially with the right attachments on it. Now, when it comes to the shotgun you should be carrying, it depends. Are you playing build or are you playing no build? If you're playing no build, you have to have the auto shotgun. You just have to. Pump shotgun, it shoots too slow for no build if you can't put up a wall to protect yourself. However, if you are in build, I recommend the hammer pump shotgun, because if you hit your shots correctly with it and you have time to put up a wall, it'll be fine. You don't have to worry about getting shot while you're trying to wait for the next shot to be ready. You can just put up a wall and protect yourself. Now, when it comes to the SMGs, gotta go with the Burst SMG. Beginning of the season, I hated it so much, was not a fan of it. However, as I've played more and more of the season, it's grown on me, especially if you're playing build. The Burst SMG is special and unique because even if they're just holding the wall, you can still occasionally get a couple shots through just because of how fast it is. With the right attachments, this gun has minimal recoil and it has pretty good range and distance on it. Now, with the new sniper nerf, are you going to be carrying a sniper in your inventory? That's a great question, and here's what I have to say about that. The bullet drop is so heavy on the new sniper rifles. If you want to hit super long range shots, you're going to have to be so accurate with it that your average skilled player should not bother picking it up if they're just going to use it for super long range. When you get a little bit closer at just like regular long range, it's more manageable. However, the bullet drop, it's still super tough to work with. Now, when it comes to mid to like medium short range, if you can still hit shots with that sniper rifle, it is so rewarding, especially if you can get like a cheeky 275, 290 on them. Just knock him. If you're playing duos, then it's instantly like a 1v2 if you get it off. Now, I wouldn't recommend going as close as like shotgun range with it, unless you're like Clicks, but I don't think Clicks is watching right now. Sorry about that. But I'd say snipers, honestly, they do alright with the medium to short range because you don't have to worry about bullet drop as much, and the bullet speed reduction doesn't seem to affect it too much when it's at medium range. Now, for mobility, there is a couple things in mobility you can choose from. However, the best by far has got to be the grapple blade right now. Especially when you're going against riot shields, you can use the attack on it and it's an instant stun to them. However, the grapple blade just dominates. You can't be as accurate with shockwaves as you can the grapple blade. And the mini crash pads, who's actually picking those up right now? Now, when it comes to heals, I'm going to leave that up to preference on that one. However, what I'm choosing, I gotta go with the regular shield potions. Especially with the new changes to them, so they heal you like a little bit at a time. You don't have to get the whole thing off to completely get it. And mini shields won't do anything if you're above 50 shield. But the new Flowberry, I just think it takes too long and it reveals your position too much. That's why I'm choosing the regular shield potions for that. As for now, that's enough talking about Fortnite. Moving on to the real world issues. Chiefs versus 49ers Super Bowl. We haven't seen that since 2020, which was also a leap year, which 2024 also is. And it was Trump versus Biden in 2020, which, looking how it's going to be, is how it'll go again in 2024. Now, are the outcomes of these two events going to change, or are they going to be the same? We don't know yet, but we'll have to wait and see how things go. New advances in the music industry, and I'm not just talking about Ariana Grande releasing a new single or 21 Savage releasing his new album. Whether you love him or you hate him, Ben Shapiro and Tom MacDonald at the top of the iTunes with their new song Facts. That's right, Facts. I've never expected to say Ben Shapiro would be at the top of the iTunes chart for being featured on a rap song. Like I said, for a first-time person doing a rap song, he makes some pretty big call-outs to people such as Lizzo and Nicki Minaj in his feature. Now, he wasn't featured for super long, but still enough to make a noticeable impression. And I gotta say, it's pretty entertaining to listen to. It might not be, one that you could listen to every day, but I still think it's pretty fun to listen to. Now, Ben Shapiro has been known on the internet for quite a while, but again, whether you like him or you hate him, you have to acknowledge the fact that he just hopped on a song, spit a couple bars, and is at the top of the iTunes chart after calling out some of the biggest names in music. You gotta give him a little bit of respect and credit for that. You can't just have anybody going around doing that. Only Ben Shapiro. Now, some people are calling Ben Shapiro the new Sheldon Cooper of politics and music. Alright, but now moving on to the fun stuff. So, I work at a sandwich shop, and because I don't want to lose my job or get sued, let's just say it rhymes with WubSay. Okay? And so on these podcasts, I'd like to talk about my experience at WubSay and just give fun, entertaining stories. And if you have any questions or something you would like me to talk about, make sure you leave a comment down below. Now, today I'd like to be talking about one of my coworkers at WubSay, who happened to actually be one of my roommates for a while in my first couple years of college before I transferred elsewhere. Now, this coworker, hilarious, super funny guy, can't say enough great stuff about him. However, he had a tendency to just break everything he touched, and it not like he was trying to do it on purpose, but I swear everything this man touched, it just broke. Now, it started with a closing shift one night. We were both closing, and we were both very young at the time, and it was us two closing together, not much experience, and as we're closing up the money and whatnot, he goes to put the money in the safe. Well, the door was acting kind of goofy, and so he just gave it a little bit of like a little bit of extra like shove to like make sure it's shut. Well, the next morning when the openers came, they weren't able to get the safe open because that same coworker had like they said force the door shut because apparently they checked the cameras and apparently, that's what they saw him do. I don't know how much of a force it was, but so what they ended up doing, because they couldn't get the door off or open, they took the door off, like completely off. Like they took a saw to this safe door and it has yet to be replaced 3, almost 4 years later. And that's not even the only thing that this man has broke. He went to eat a sandwich one time in the back of the room, and he went to sit down on this table, and I kid you not, the top of the table just falls off. And it was just so funny, because it just like happened out of nowhere, just watching this man sit on the table, and then the top falls off. Luckily, nothing was like broken, nothing like cracked or anything, and the top was able to get screwed back on. It was just kind of wobbly. And then another time, or another closing shift, and for whatever reason they had like these light bulbs on the counter, and it was under a plastic bag, and I'm cleaning out stuff, trying to close and whatnot, and he turns to like look at me and talk to me about something, but he like puts his hand back to like lean on the counter, but he didn't see the light bulb there, and as he does that, all you hear is just a shattering sound. And then he immediately like picks his hand up, and then you go over there, and there's just a ton of broken glass everywhere because this man had just shattered a light bulb, which is pretty funny. And he ended up, those are the first only three that come to mind, but I'm pretty sure he broke a few other things, none of which were his fault, none of which were on purpose, all accidents, like I said. But again, funny guy to work with, just super great guy. And what was probably the most expensive sandwich I've made? I think it was like $35. They got like a rotisserie chicken and bacon, but they got like triple chicken and like triple bacon and triple cheese, and they added a bunch of other stuff to it. But like, they got it on flatbread, and I was the one that managed to close that sandwich, which is, if you ask me, it's probably one of the most impressive things that I've done so far. Alright y'all, thank you so much for watching. This will be the end of the first episode of the Goosecast. We will have more WubSay story times in the next podcast, and leave a comment down below for more topics I can talk about. And again, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. It means a lot more than you know. And again, thank you so much for watching, because without you guys, none of this would all be possible.
Oh, he threw that. That's why I lagged. That makes way more sense. Bro, how are we killing kids?
I got lucky. I don't know.